Hello, friends. It's nice as always to be with you. I'm here today to discuss something that causes confusion for most building clients, and that has to do with the role of each professional in the built environment, the construction industry. Now, I'll be discussing this based on their statutory responsibilities, the responsibilities by virtue of their establishment, what each of these professionals are supposed to do for you. Usually, when you acquire a property, land, in this instance, you need the first person to come to play is the surveyor, the surveying and geoinformatics people. Surveying, surveyors are the people who come to survey your land, who get you the shape of the land. They put beacons, they give you the size of your land. They sometimes, with their computers, they get you the coordinates of the land and get your land registered with the authorities. That is the job of the surveyors. Now, when that is done, the next person for your development would be the architect. Now, it is the time when you have a development to do. The architect, statutorily, what he does is to do your design and supervise his designs. So the architect is the person who does your building designs. You call him and tell him, give him a brief of the things you want him to do for you, and he does the designs for you. And then it is also his responsibility to supervise during construction that his designs are properly implemented. You know, in a building, the design the architect does is like the skin, just like you have in the human body, the skin. Now, when the skin is in place, the skin cannot stand without bones inside. And so the next person who comes to play is the structural engineer. Now, there are civil engineers. These, generally, it's an amorphous term, civil engineering. Now, civil engineering has many aspects. You have those who major in structures, you have those who major in some other form of engineering project or kind of jobs. But now, in the instance, we'll be discussing those who major in structures, who are those who have a part to play in building construction. Now, these engineers will now use the drawings that the architect has done to create the bone, the structural part of the building, the part that keeps the building standing. Again, statutorily, the engineer's job is to design and then supervise the implementation, the construction of what he has designed. When that is done, there is another person who does some designs, and now that is the electrical engineer. You know, just like the human body has arteries and veins that run across it, that is the way the electrical engineer does the electrical designs that run across the buildings. He uses the architectural design that the architect has produced to do his own design. He also does the design of the electrical component of the building, and then it is also his job to supervise to make sure during construction implementation that what he has designed comes to play. The next other person who has a part to play is the mechanical engineer. Now, the electrical and mechanical engineers are called services engineers because their jobs are called services. So after the electrical, the mechanical also has a job to play. You know, just like the human body has the respiratory system, your digestive tract, where waste leave your body. You know, that is the way too the mechanical engineer does the designs of the plumbing and mechanical aspects of a building. Now, his job statutorily too is to design that aspect of the building and then supervise its implementation that it is done that way. The next other person is the quantity surveyor. This man's job is to bring together all these other designs, the architectural, electrical, mechanical, and structural, bring them together, and then come about a cost, a probable cost, an estimated cost of what it will take to put all that design into construction. Now, he does that. He's also statutorily, he's also meant to be on the project to check, to implement, to be sure that his cost is adhered to, because his costs are based on the designs done. So he's on site to make sure that each specification is implemented to the letter, because every specification has monetary connotation. Now, when that is done, somebody is professionally, trained to take all these documents and then bring about the construction work, and that is the builder. Statutorily, it is the builder's job to construct. It is not the architect's job, it is not the engineer's job, neither is it the quantity surveyor's job. It is the builder's job actually to do construction. He is the person who is trained on carpentry, masonry, and things of that nature. Every aspect of labor that's associated with construction, it is the builder that is statutorily licensed to do all that. Now, we also have the project managers who are just supervisors, overall oversight people who oversee all things that are being done by all persons involved in that. But again, in recent times, the boundaries between these professions have collapsed. So now there are, activities, there are interchange of activities between these professions. And that's the reason why an architect can afford to supervise and do the construction work. An engineer can afford to do so. A quantity surveyor can equally do so. But the person statutorily licensed, this person statutorily meant to do this construction is a builder. But however, irrespective of how these walls in between these professions have been collapsed, there still remains what each person, each professional should do that others cannot do. The core jobs of each of these professions are meant to be handled by them, because each of these professions are licensed, trained and licensed to operate. It's not something that one other person can cross-change and do all, what the other person is meant to do. So today, I have made it clear to you. So if the next time you have a building project, you should know who to call to do what. Sometimes you hear somebody say, oh, I give my architect drawing my house, he's doing the drawing and giving me the cost. The architect does not calculate the cost for you. He designs and he calls the quantity surveyor he knows and gives him the drawing to do the costing for him. Sometimes I hear that, oh, the architect is doing all the drawings for me, he's doing electrical, there is nothing like that. The architect does not do all that. What he does is that he goes behind, he gets somebody else, an electrical engineer, a mechanical engineer, and the structural engineer, gives them the drawing to do their own part, and he brings it as a suit and submits to you, like a one-stop shop thing. So this is exactly how responsibilities and job descriptions are in the construction industry. So the next time you have a building project, you then know who to call at any point in time to do whatever you would want to do for you. It's nice having you again. Thank you. I'll see you next time in my next video to tell you something else about the construction industry.